a great book out there. I've read the book a couple of times.
That's an
And
awesome book. That's was my game changer was his book.
yeah, we implement that HVOC, the high value
Yep.
content offers, pretty much daily on all of our funnels that we run for our clients.
Uh,
So we're running some national stuff, and it's doing really really well.
uh,
So it's been a great year this year for our agency. We hit 2.1 million on the close
wow,
of this
that's
year,
nice.
and it's growing. COVID's been we're blessed, we're thankful, we're grateful. We are swamped.
That's the
We
same way I
are
am. Everybody talks about COVID. I'm like, psh, all I know is when COVID hit, it was a game changer for me. I told my web designer up until and I told this story already, but up until really right before around April is when he started with me. Up until then, I had another VA and it had been nothing but a pain in my butt. And that's why I had gotten to the point. I said, you know what, I just want my 4 or 5 clients, just what I can deal with. I don't want nothing else. Leave me alone. And I'd gotten to that
yeah.
point. I'd read in Russell's book before where he talked about, he built an agency, had some good results, good success. He got to the point he was like, I don't even want to get out of bed. And I got to that point before I was like, my phone would ding and I would just be like, God, no, and then, that's why I just wanted my 4 or 5 clients, kept my 4 or 5 clients. And it was just, and then I met this web designer. He's actually my wife's cousin's fiance. And then I told him, I said, I feel like God just went, you've been through a lot of crap. I just think I'm going to give you, blessing. And I told him, said he's been nothing but a blessing since. Like my project manager is the same way, you
That's
know,
awesome.
and my team, I told them they're more like family to me than anything. So, it's just
Yeah.
been, and since COVID, that's what I told people. For me, I'm like, if you cannot hit 6 figures a year doing, the SEO web design, then you're just not doing it right. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't see how it's not possible. Um,
I had spoke to somebody the other day, and this is about 6 months ago, and we just had a conversation, and I said, about websites and the cost, and he says step back and just double your price.
yep.
I said, what do you mean? He says, just do me a favor and just double your price. And I have not looked back.
Mm,
And now we're 10 to 12 grand for a WordPress website. I won't
mm,
touch anything less. We put so much work in it for keyword research, on page
mm,
optimization. Like,
mm,
it's just not worth it anything less. And I'm not having a problem at all converting
yep.
clients.
Yep.
So sometimes you just got to step it up a bit for pricing, and I you'll be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I did that with SEO recently. So, and it hasn't halted anything. I mean, the first time I ever closed, I closed someone on Messenger for like 5 grand, and that was my first time. And I was like, I hadn't even talked to this physically, hadn't even talked to this guy. No phone call, nothing. He's like, how much to do it? I said 5,000 a month, and he was like, done. I was like,
Oh yeah.
what? I mean, where the
Oh
hell
yeah.
have y'all been? I mean, all my life,
Yeah.
I'd never in my life seen it, and that's just like it's just opened up doors when I did certain things. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for
so
sure.
today, really, we're going to go through some tools I use. Probably you're going to know some of them, but I'm just literally just going to show you step by step of what I would do. For instance, it's really a good time for me because Facebook banned my other account. So what? And I know I finally, like I said, I pretty much figured it out. Is honestly, I have some people that don't like me whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure they're following me because what happened, like today, for instance, a couple of days ago, I was told, "Oh, you can't comment in any groups unless you're a moderator or you own them." And I was like, screw it. 2 days later, they let you back in. And lo and behold, probably 20 minutes ago, I made a comment. Someone asked something, and I made a comment, and I said, all I said was, he said, please help us mere mortals, William. And this is regards to SEO. And I was just like, I would, but the SEO gurus might get pissed off. That's all I said. And then the one guy, I thought it probably is reporting me, commented on the post, and he's probably the only one person I would think has the manpower to do what would need to be done to actually effectively report someone, because you can't just report one time. You have to report repetitively from different IP addresses. So
Yeah.
what's going to
There's
happen?
some,
I have I have 3 or 4 accounts, and basically they're brand new accounts. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take those and do what we call gardening, in which I go take this brand new account. I'm not going to change my name, not going to do none of that. And I'm going to just start showing you how I would set it up and do friend requests and get it moving. Because you can't do it. You can't go in there and just say, hey, let me do 500 at a time. It's literally like 20. But I'm going to show you how I go ahead and be like, okay, my customer avatar is agencies. I mean, yours might be something else. Whatever. You could use this kind of the same system on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's pretty much the same way. It's optimize your cover photo, optimize your data, your information, and then go on there and look for people that are in your customer avatar and start friending them, making connections. Use Sales Navigator. It's the same thing, but to me, you find better clientele on LinkedIn. They're willing to pay more money. That's the only difference for me, at least for my experience so far. I've only been using LinkedIn until last time, really, that Facebook banned me, because that really opened it up. I said, you know what, I need to get on just LinkedIn and some other platforms besides just Facebook, because obviously Facebook's having conniptions as of late. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to log into my other account. But first, I'm going to show you all this guy. I'm pretty sure most of you some of you might know him, but this is a guy to follow. If you don't follow him, his name is Aaron James. If you don't follow him, you need to follow him. He's in high level. He has a lot of these Google Chrome extensions I want to show you. The other guy that I like to follow, his name is John Vaughn. Depending on your, let me put it on here, John Vaughn. He cusses a lot, so if you don't like cussing, don't follow him. But he is either crazy, insane, or just a mad scientist genius. He goes for, right now he's rebuilding his profile for just like me. Facebook banned him, but he comes back. He makes nothing but Chrome extensions. And you can see him down here. He's actually making one right now that's in process. Normally, you know how you set up a, and if you go in here, and I would encourage you to do so, let me show it to you if I could find it, and DM him or send him a DM in regards to it. He is coming out with basically a bot where you can, I'm trying to find it for you guys, where you can actually, let me find it and then I'll show you if I could find it. Here it is. You send him a DM with the words MFN Evan, right, in his chat bot. What that's going to allow you to do on this one, and I'm already in on it, is basically once it's done.
Good. All right, I'm getting pressure from my tenant rent.
I think you have to block him.
Yeah, and basically I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is if it gets advertised and then after the sale goes through and he gets switched to address, I'm going to get walloped for charge.
So nevertheless, that's Andy. He's a client of mine. He's just whatever. So MF and Evan, and this is the guys. Let me send it over in chat for y'all. But once I'm done, I'll send this all on the back end and everything so y'all have it. But John, I mean, when I first met John, I couldn't stand him. I still, to this day, he gets on my nerves sometimes, but I think he's a mad genius, really. He gets on here and he comes up with all these Chrome extensions, and he does cuss quite a bit, but nevertheless, normally you can have a chat bot that will auto respond if someone's on your Facebook business page, right? Well, he's in the process, and he has it done. It's already done. He's just getting it ready to scale. where if you actually send them a message on your personal profile, it automatically messages you. Same thing that's a business page, but it's actually already done for personal pages. No one's come up with it that I've ever seen. And I've asked people on ClickFunnels, everywhere you would think people would know about it. It doesn't exist until he just started talking about it January 29th. So I'm going to send you his link. I'm going to send you James's link. I actually currently use a mix between both of their stuff. And that's what I'm going to show you today and how I set it up. So let me go ahead and log out of here and log into the account that I actually can log into. So this is and I'm going to show you just, this is another thing. And if you've ever had your Facebook banned, you're going to have to buy some of these accounts. All these guys will tell you, anybody that does organic marketing will tell you to do them. Buy Facebook aged accounts, because if you don't, you're going to regret it. Because what happens a lot of times is Facebook will ban your account. They may or may not bring it back. And if they don't bring it back and you don't have a backup, you're restarting from scratch. That's why I have at any time, you'll see probably 4 or 5 accounts that I'm dealing with. That way, if they ever do it, I have a backup account already. But so I go into this account. Let's say my main avatar, I usually start with high level or ClickFunnels. So here's ClickFunnels. I mean, this is how simple this extension is called FriendMaker. This is Aaron James's software from Be Louder. It's one of his extensions. This is the one we're going to deal with today. We want to go into large groups that deal with specifically our customer avatar. Mine would be agencies. That's why I go to high level, or I go to ClickFunnels. So once I'm in this group, it has to be an open group. I literally just go over here to members and I go to FriendMaker. And obviously I don't have that many friends because this is a new account. And I'm going to start with just 20 a day until I build up to about 500. I'm going to start at about 20 a day. And then I'll slowly bump it up. Once I'm at 500, I just go full blast and I start doing probably close to 70, 80 friends a day. But literally, how many seconds or how many mutual friends do I want to have? Do I want them to be 10? Right now, I'm not going to have any. Keyword I'm going to use, let's say agency, because it's going to pick agency owners only. You can set it up where it sends a follow-up message if you want. So basically, as soon as they friend me, I could have it send a follow-up message. I necessarily don't do that because I know for a fact that Facebook looks at things and goes, for example, if you're sending the same message repetitively over and over, if they're sending repetitively over and over and over again the same message, then what will happen is Facebook will see that and then they'll go, you need to get rid of you, basically, because you're sending spammy messages and you don't want to do that. So I will literally go in and respond to every one of them myself whenever the friend requests and I see they verified it. I'm going to tag agency and I hit start and I sit back and just relax and it does it for me. And this might seem kind of like, why would you need a bot? It's only 20. Well, it's going to go through there and see every single one of them that owns an agency or whatever keyword I put in there. And I only want those specific friends. Some of them are going to be good ones. Some are going to be bad. Then he also has friend remover. Let's say you get up to, you see this all the time. People get 4,000 or 5,000 people. Then they go, if you're not active on my feed, make a comment because I'm about to clean house. And they'll use these extensions to do a lot of this, and it's just going through right now, looking for the different friends you're going to want based on, do they own an agency? You could say, for example, web design company. You could say lives in Georgia. You can say, whatever, pretty much whatever you want. I specifically go after web design agencies. And it's going to do it. It's going to take, a little bit, 5-10 minutes. and it's going to do all this. Now, once it's done, it will stop by itself. You don't ever close out the window. This software's with, you know, Aaron. John has the same similar software. I just do not have John's right now. I use James on this one. And the only reason I don't use John's right now is because I'm waiting on my software extensions to be set up. I do have my own sauce programs. That's what I'm waiting on myself, but because I got tired of using someone else's. Give me one. It's 7 more. And once it's done, then I'll go to the next step and show you what to do after that. And I'll tell you why we do it. I mean, have you watched, there is, I know everybody don't want to hear about this, but Netflix. So Netflix, see, she's already messaging me. Hello, Porter. Nice to connect with you here. So got 16 on Netflix. There was a show, and it's called The Social Dilemma. Social Dilemma with Facebook, where it talks about basically Facebook's algorithm and why it works and how it works and why it shows you certain ads and retargeting and how it gets you to be active for, you know, once it stops, we'll go more further. Say it's done. It's doing the last one. So I could literally walk away from it, never have to touch it. I could have it set to run at a certain time of day, and it does it for me. So, but the next step, if you haven't watched it, and I'll put it in the group as well. It's a movie. It's on Netflix. I know some people don't like Netflix right now because of certain issues or whatever, but there is probably other places you can watch it. Basically, it goes through Facebook and it talks about how Facebook was set up and the algorithm. And for example, how they get you to look at someone's content. You know, what actions do they take to make you look at their content? And one of the reasons why we use this, for example, if you go on your feed, you got all these people that are commenting and they'll say stuff, you know, that you're following and everything, but how do you get them to start looking at your content? So what I would personally do, let's say you make an offer, you know, here you have a program that you want to post or something of that nature. I'm not going to necessarily post anything right now of my own, but let's say I did this one time. It's like, do you prefer, and this is just a silly one, but do you prefer hot or cold showers? And I just post this, you know, no big deal. That's not an offer, obviously. But then John has this extension I bought as well that I use. It's called Engagement Monster. And what Engagement Monster does, which is so awesome, you go in here, open it, go into settings, you set the time. So based upon, it'll go through your feed, and based upon how many of these emojis it has, is it more thumbs up, hearts, laughs, cries, whatever? Based upon that information, it will leave a different comment. So I could set this up to say whatever I want, and it's going to tag, let's say Helen, you know, this new girl, Helen Howell. I can say, you know, pretty much whatever I want. It's going to tag her, say, I know, right? Or I love this. Thanks for posting it. Blah, blah, blah. What made you post like this? Sadness, you know, saddens me to see stuff like this. Very upsetting, to say the least. Different stuff. And why are you going to do that? Is because of the sheer fact, what happens is when someone sees you tag them in a comment, whatever the comment is, they're going to wind up clicking on your name, going over your profile, and then seeing your offer, checking you out. And that's the whole point. And the more you get engagement, the more you get people doing that, then what happens is Facebook starts feeding them your content on their feed. Okay. So Engagement Monster, let's say I update it, I go back, I hit start. This is, I mean, honestly, how simple most of this stuff is. And this is why I use these tools, is because it makes my life easier. Yes, Facebook took down my account, but it'll take me 2 weeks probably to get back where I was at with 3,000 friends. And I just go, it's 3,000 new opportunities to sell more of my services to people I never knew. So it's going through my feed, and basically all it does is it looks, okay, how many ha-has and wows and sads and angries it has, and based upon that, it's going to leave a certain comment. That's all it does. And I'll usually do this, and literally within, sometimes within minutes, you'll see people commenting back at you based upon that. And the whole reason we're doing it is just to get that engagement. So what you have is you have your ideal client or your ideal customer, and now you're engaging with them automatically, and they're going to come to your content and see your content, and likely over time, they're going to wind up buying from you or engaging with you, because that's all you're trying to get. So that's that software, and I'm going to stop it, but I just wanted to show you guys this part of the system, and this is what I've used, and this is what I've been using for the past, I would say probably 7 months, which has gotten me the most traction and the most engagement. If I could show you, and I wish I could, but the other account, when it was taken down, the other account I was getting, I'd never in my life gotten no more than, let's say, 20, 30 engagements. And then I started this process up, and then the most I've gotten is close to 300 comments, on one post. And I did it through using this system, literally these two extensions. These extensions, from what I remember, I paid with Aaron, I paid one-time fee, I think of like $60 or something. It wasn't insane. It's not monthly. John, I think I pay maybe, I want to say like $15 a month. I mean, it's not much for me to look at and see the value in it. And this goes through and it tags the person in comments. And then once it does that, you'll start seeing over here comments and stuff like this is what I look for. Let me go ahead and stop this program right here. Facebook accounts, stop that, stop that. But then the other aspect of this, if you don't have it, how many of y'all have an actual graphic designer that works for you in-house? I know Paul probably has one, or has, yeah, I'll send Aaron James' profile on Facebook. Also, John Vaughn, I'll send both of them. He definitely, they have a free trial and everything. John, I don't think does. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Okay, so if you have a team, I would tell you, use your team. If you don't have a team, reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction. For most of this stuff, you could pretty much do it yourself. If you have if you've never heard of Canva, you can use Canva. You can use, if you have Photoshop, use Photoshop. But Canva, the beautiful thing about Canva is you can go inside of it and say, I want to do a profile, a Facebook profile, Facebook time cover or timeline cover, and you can create it right in there. And I'm going to show you some things in regards to this as well, because most people they'll create a timeline cover and they just don't think about certain things. If you look at some people, you'll see how they set it up, and you'll understand they know exactly what they're doing because of the way they set it up. So for example, when we go to, let me show you this real quick, like I've shown you this before, Blake Newbar. So when you go to desktop, this all looks great. You click on it like I showed you yesterday, goes over to their offer, which is over here, which is his Facebook group, private Facebook group, usually, like Paul had mentioned the other day. Now, if you were to take this and go on a mobile device, used to the way the timeline cover was set up, it showed everything, no problem. Facebook started catching on. And then once they caught on, they started changing the profile outlook. And now you'll see, you can't even see on purpose almost, you can't even see the timeline cover. They've covered your offer. They've covered everything. So you can't even see it. But you can come down here and you still see this offer. So it has his link here, which is clickable. If you click on this, it has his link here. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to see it because this is in that, but oh, nevertheless, it shows everything. Let me go and stop that one, but that's mobile Facebook. So, but if you go to Blake Newbar, he's one of the primary ones I would follow and implement what he's showing. But this is the guy everybody was like, do you know Blake Newbar whenever I first started? And no, but if you go here, you'll see the profile outline. You'll see his offer, which Paul has a good example as well. And he has that on his. We could go to Paul's and let's look at yours, Paul. What's your last name, Paul?
Myers, Meyers, but you got to share your screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can even find you because I switched out of my personal account, so I'm not going to be able to see it. Let me switch back into my other account and I'll share that screen because I'm done with the program. So, but let me go into here real quick and switch out of this so I can go back to my old account or my new account.
Do you try to hide any of your footprint when you're switching back and forth between accounts?
I do, but honestly, that has not worked for me. I've done VPSs, VPN, IP rotators, the whole shebang. I've had my IP address changed because some people will say, "Oh, that's probably your IP address." Nope, I've done that. I've done the VPN, VPSs, all that stuff, and I honestly, I know very specifically who, have such a not so good following of certain people that just don't like me. So, but it is what it is. So if we go to Paul, and his, from what I remember, yours is pretty simple. And that's simpler, sometimes better. Like just give me 30 minutes, hit the link below. And then he has the same thing over here where he has his offer. He has his bit.ly link. And you can go into Canva and create most of this stuff. You go into Canva. And I will create my Facebook timeline covers here because I just, let's say I'm a student. Let's say I want this to be, I create stuff in here all the time. And then you go into your Facebook ads or Instagram or whatever you're wishing to create. You can create all that jazz in here. They have moved it once again, it seems like. Facebook. Okay, let's go here and just type in Facebook. So Facebook cover. And you can start with a blank slate. You can do some of these. Most of these guys that do it, they'll wind up saying, let me take this really cool looking picture, like this outdoory, picture here, like I've done on mine. Is right now I just have, the ocean, or this is Palawan. And whenever, and in the back end of the course, you'll see where I just started out, I literally just put a button up here. That's all I did. And I didn't make it nothing crazy or anything else. But you'll take this image, let's say we take this image and then we slap in some buttons or your offers, you move this up or do whatever you can. Because honestly, you're not going to be able to get this optimized anymore because Facebook's getting rid of that ability because they don't want you to be able to do this. This is not supposed to be used for business whatsoever. They don't want you to. And then I've just started filling it up with a little bit of content here and there, mainly because I don't want them, coming back and saying, hey, we recognize who you are and take down my account again. But you can go into Canva. You can do this in, Photoshop and create your timeline cover. You get, depending on your customer avatar, depending on what you want to offer, You know, you could take something like this if you're a website designer. You know, this could be your call to action type of a thing. And then let's say just for craps and giggles, see if it's actually optimized the way it should be. Download. Let's say we download it. Download. I just want to show you some of this stuff. I mean, it's not that complicated, really. Most people overcomplicate things. And you go over to your profile. Let's upload the photo, desktop. Come on, baby. Come on. There you go. You know, it's already made, in which so it will be optimized. But even with that being said, let's say I take this and save it just so I could show you. I go down to tools, developer tools, and that's the closest you're going to get because they're covering it. They're covering everything. They don't want you to basically pretty much tag anything in here where you can do anything. So you could do like Paul and basically simplify it. And it's only like an image with one little bit of text over here that literally says, you know, white label agency, or click here to join my group, or whatever you want, because Facebook is getting rid of that. Let me select photo, get rid of that photo, obviously. Let's choose another one. We can go with this one again and just hit save. So I use Canva for that. If they ever take down your account, you don't ever want to use the same photos. So for instance, right now I have all my photos that I've downloaded from my old Facebook account, but I don't use any of them because of the sheer fact, and I have had this happen. I went to use my old Facebook cover profile. I did this the other day on another account. And the moment I did it, they took down the account. And it took them probably 5 minutes to take down the entire account based off that one little picture. So anytime that happens, like I've never used this image before. And I slapped that one in there and said, let me try this one because it has my wife in here, and you never see photos with my wife. So that's, you know, one of the things I did, and I didn't put the button up here about my offer or nothing like that, because I know as soon as I do, Facebook will take it down again. I've even considered changing this link up because of what they've done. To edit this part of your bio, just like Paul's done, you go into, just click edit, and you type in whatever your offer is, whoever you're trying to reach. I give agency owners freedom to focus on sales, fingers pointing down, pointing at where I want them to go. In this case, I'm just trying to get them to book a call. You could do this the same way as I believe Paul does, and you send them to a private group where they go to join. And the reason why I mentioned yesterday as well, you send them that private group because that's one of the groups you control. And let me show you, for instance, in my group, I have this one where I'm a moderate, this one I own. But if you look at this one I own, this is one of the reasons I do it. I have all these different moderators or admins here, and every one of them are people I either know or are friends of mine or people that work with me or separate accounts of mine. From the sheer fact that if they take down one account, I have another account that will let me back in. And that was one of the biggest, that's the first lesson I probably learned when it first happened. Because imagine when it first happened, I didn't have 3,000, 4,000 friends, whatever, but I did have all of my Facebook pages, and I had every one of my customers' accounts, and I had my ad account and everything tied to that account. And when they took that down, I no longer had access to all my customers' accounts. I no longer had access to anything and everything that was important to me. So when that happened, I then went, you know what, I need to get a little bit smarter. So that's when I went, you know what, I talked to a couple of people like John and Aaron, and I said, what do you do? And that's when they just told me, said, you're going to have to have multiple accounts, multiple admins. You send everybody, and this is why they do it. You send everybody to your group, because if and if it does come down, you have some sort of control over it versus not having any control. Let me see here. Any questions? Trying not to get banned again. Jeff, I think, has been banned about as many times as me. So has anybody else outside of me and Jeff actually been banned?
We don't do your crazy shit though. That's why.
Yeah, it's like the one group I'm in, the admin tells me, he says he just doesn't understand why everybody can't get along, and there's a lot of jealousy that goes on too. So how did William store the details of the 3K followers he had once and was banned? So here's a little, I mean, it's a little bit tedious if you really want to do it this way, but I honestly, for instance, Andy's asking this question, whenever I get banned or whatever, and I no longer have access to that account, they're going to ask you to verify. They say, hey, do this. You're going to take this, this little device right here. They're going to say, let's see a video of you. Turn your head to the left, turn it to the right, up, down. And you do all that craziness. And they go, oh, we've decided, yes, you confirmed your identity B, but guess what? We're not letting you in anymore anyways. And yes, they can do that. People are amazed. They're like, they can do that? And I'm like, did you read the terms of service? They could do that for pretty much anything they want. If you share a link more than they like, share a picture more than they like, they think it's spam, someone reports you, you get people that don't like you, and you have them reporting anything you post. You have people following you to do this. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can get you banned. So with me, what I'll do is, for example, I'm going to garden with those 3 other accounts that I have, build up my following, not change my profile image, not change anything that came with it until I hit about 3K in followers. Then once I do that, I'm going to switch my profile image, switch the timeline cover. Then I'm going to start dropping my offers.
Will, question.
Yep.
Mine's a personal profile. Should I flip it to a business profile?
No, I use personal. I don't see, the thing isn't, the biggest thing I have always found is when my personal profile, then I have my business profile. My business profile always got less engagement than my personal profile. I get some clients, but out of all the clients I have, I probably have picked up maybe 5 clients off my business profile, because I don't do ads. I don't do any of that. I don't do any pay-per-click ads with Facebook. I use Facebook for CTR now, that I will do, but that's something totally different. And if you go to most of these guys, you'll find out that they have a business page, but they don't post that often on it. Even their personal page, even if you look at their personal page, they don't post that often on it, because they're shoving them over to their group. Because it's not if, it's when it happens. If you start doing a lot of the organic marketing, they're gonna turn you off. To get back to, political seats, they get banned easily. I have had some accounts running ads that were tied to my old account, and I thought maybe that was it, because I did some ads for personal trainings. When I say personal training, it was a fitness industry. And basically, you have to be very careful. I am very careful, but I figured maybe it was that. No, it's not that. Now, let's say instead of making new friends, I wanted to take all my old friends and try to remake acquaintances with them. I would not suggest you do so, because sometimes they could see a pattern, same friends, same family members. I don't put any of my personal data on there. Switch your phone number, stuff like that. I do all that. But if you really wanted to, we're going to, when they ban your account, they're going to give you an option to download your personal information. So I download my personal information. In that personal information, I'll show you what it kind of gives you as well. Let me pull this up for you real quick. So you're going to see, for example, whenever they go to give you your personal information, let's see if I have access to my server still. There's Be Louder. I have it there. But basically, I'm trying to find it again because I had it on here and I got rid of it. But basically, they give you, if you look at it, there it is. So basically, they give you all your time. If you go through here, you'll see these are all my old timeline photos. These are all my old pictures and everything. And, you know, it just shows me all that data. And I just, let me open it real quick so y'all can see it. So this is all my old pictures from my old account. I mean, so I can look at it and tell you, I'm not doing nothing crazy. I mean, I'm not posting any political stuff. I'm not posting nothing that should upset people, but it's nothing but my business stuff. Just the photos. And then I have my videos in here as well. Then I have my thumbnails, profile pictures. You know, let me go ahead and open these up some. And the second time I came back, I used the same image for my profile. That's why I know they're using AI, and I say don't do it. Then, for instance, they'll also, and I don't have it here anymore because I'm not wanting to use it, but they give you a list of all of your friends. Who were your friends? And what I literally do, or you could literally do, not something I do, but you could literally go in there and go, okay, you know, copy, you know, Brenda Farley. She used to be one of my friends, or Paul, he used to be one of my friends. Copy it, go over here and search for them. And then I find them and hit a friend request. You could do that, but do that times 3,000 people. Not going to happen. It's too much. You know, I'll go in there and I'll friend some people that are like, if I remember them off the top of my head. But now the thing I also do is I go, you know what, when someone wants an audit, when someone wants, you know, my free ebook, when someone wants something I'm doing, I go, I'd love to help you out, Paul. What's your email address so I can send you over your audit, or I can send you over my free book on SEO and help you out. And 99% of the time they will give me their email address. And now I'm building up my email list. And I started using leads generated to do that because I went, you know what? I need to be able to control my audience. I need to be able to give them my offers, give them my information. And when Facebook does take me down, I need to have a backup. And without that, you have no backup and you have no way to actually get your audience engaged and give them your offers and tell them, hey, I mean, it's not even about give them your offers. It's, hey, I mean, and I do this. Hey, I found this new tool. You might be interested in it, Jeff. Look at this. And like Jeff, he messages me in, you know, in my inbox every single day with just stuff he finds. And I'll do the same thing. And that's one way I help keep my audience engaged besides just wanting to quote unquote sell them or send them your offer and stuff like that. And I use it both ways. And then Aaron also has another tool. It's called Group Magnet. So for example, when you set up your group, a lot of people don't do this, but you set up questions in the back end of your group. And in the back end of your group, when you set up your questions, we'll go over setting up a group tomorrow. And I'm going to set up, let's say, a private group instead of the one I currently have right now is public for everybody. So what we'll do is we'll set up a private group like Paul had mentioned as well. And we'll show you that. And then what happens is you set up questions. For example, you go, are you a business owner or an agency, you know, or an agency, or whatever questions you want to ask. But in my specific case, what type of agency are you? How long have you been an agency? And what's your email address? So I could send my free ebook. And I could set it up where if you don't give me your email address, I'm not letting you into the group. And then I can also set it up with this group magnet that Aaron has. It will then take those emails and populate them into a Google spreadsheet. So then I can take those and add them into my email list as well. And therefore, once again, I have control of my email list. When not Google, but Facebook does take you down, you still have it. Or if, you know, I've seen some people never get taken down, but generally speaking, every person I've seen that uses organic marketing has been taken down. So, and then they have to come back and they rework it all over again. So, but let me see, anybody else? Any other questions? Tomorrow we're going to go through setting up a group and how to do that. One thing I would tell you, like tomorrow we'll talk about setting up a group. Don't go in there and just start inviting a bunch of people, because when you invite people, they don't have to fill out the questions. When you as the group owner send them an invite to them and just start inviting people randomly, you can send them you send them your
That's what happens. I didn't know that. That's why I was wondering. I looked, I was going, well, how did that guy get in there? I'm supposed to get his email and shit.
Yeah,
Interesting. Thank
tomorrow
you.
we'll send that. But basically what you do is you take your Facebook group link, and that's why they have it in their offer, because you put it up there and they click on it and then they have to fill out that information.
Dang.
And if you don't, they don't. So
A question, William.
Yep.
This may be just a little off topic, but when we are going after or niching down, how tight do you recommend niching down? Like for an agency, say I'm an agency that focuses on the construction industry. Is that good enough, or should I pick concrete contractors or plumbers? Or
to me, if you go just construction, that's still too general. I mean, and I'll tell you two different things. And I talked to someone earlier about this. Is I'm a generalist, but the thing, and I'll tell you both ways. A generalist, it makes your life a living hell, because when you're a generalist, I'll be dealing with someone that sells medical marijuana one day, and then a plumber the next, and could be all in the same day. Like today, I'll deal with pest control, catering, and plumbers and roofers, and you have to be able to create a plan for every one of them. Now, if, for instance, you don't have 20 years experience in doing SEO or even web design or whatever, you're not going to be able to do that. Just not. SEO is not the same across the board for everybody. It is in a sense, but the thing is, okay, a plumber, are there going to be things that plumbers are going to do different than a roofer? Yes. Are they going to advertise in different places? Yes. Is their audience going to be in different places? Yes. So what I would want saying is, as an agency, you can make it a lot easier on yourself if you niche down, let's say construction workers. And what type of construction workers? Who do you want to deal with? You want to deal with plumbers or roofers? Who has more money? In my case, I'd tell you roofer. Because I just know they have the money to spend. And the type of people I would tell you go after is who's spending money on AdWords, Facebook ads. Find those people and then niche down and market to those specific people. But
so even within roofers, you would probably even focus on a certain group.
Storm damage.
Yeah.
There are tree contractors, for instance. They do, tree removal, tree pruning, stump grinding, all that. Then one of their aspects is because they get more money from insurance companies for storm damage. And you can literally niche down. I only deal with, tree removal. Is only deal with storm damage. And then what it does is it makes your life simple. You go, okay, I know how to get you ranked. I know what your page structure should be. I know what backlinks you need, what niches you need. I know what type of content you need. So therefore, when I go to write the content and blogs, I don't have to sit there and go, what type of things should I write about? What are people thinking about when it comes to storm damage with roofers? Because I automatically know.
Right.
Some of the tools that if you're not in the group, which I'm pretty sure you're in the first group, we went over yesterday was the optimizer for question and answers, and that solves a lot of that issue for me, because I can literally spit out hundreds of questions people are asking for. But really, that's, if I was going to niche down, that's what for me. Even me, most people, I'm a generalist, but even so, I niche down. I went and they said, well, it's not really a niche. I used to do all business owners. And then I went, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with brick and mortar people. I only want to deal with agencies. So I white label for agencies. I make their life better. I make it simpler. I give you can make more money if you hire and outsource to me, which is true. And so a lot of, well, that's really not a niche. You're not dealing, because I say I don't deal with business owners. Well, agencies are business owners. You probably haven't dealt with too many business owners if you don't understand what I'm trying to get at. You know, agency is much easier than an actual brick and mortar to deal with, because they know what to expect when it comes to SEO, web design. They kind of know what I need. You know, it makes my life easier. And I tell you, since I did that, you know, and I only did that probably 3 months ago. Once I did that, everything changed. It was like doing a 360. I took a pivot, and it was like I went doubled my prices, and then changed, you know, the whole systemizing of everything. I need this, and it was just boom, 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 boom. Like last week, we signed on 12 new clients in a week. So, and it's much simpler, you know, for me to do it that. Now, if I did 12 regular to small business owners that knew nothing about SEO and web design, I'd have to educate them. I'd have to warm up to them. And give me 1 second, and then I would have to, you know, I'd have to do that whole process with them. And for me, when I niched down like that, it just made my life a lot easier. And that's why I would say, if I was you, I would do the same thing.
Just niche down. Now, the other something I was trying to think about here is it better to niche down to a specific niche, or do I use proximity to my advantage? Do I hit my area, like my locality?
Well, if it was me, I mean, for instance, and I'll give you another one. For instance, if it's specifically dealing with SEO, and we'll talk more about this. There's another person I learned from this, and I mentioned this in the other group, was bulletproof marketing or bulletproof SEO. What is a bulletproof SEO? And there's a catchy name. And it's like, most people that do SEO, who do y'all normally deal with? Business owners, right?
Mhm.
Who else do y'all deal with?
Organizations, business owners.
Okay. And that's where most people, not necessarily, that's where most small business owners, especially with me, where I only deal with small business owners. I really messed up, because what happens is you now have one leg to stand on. For example, if you're a small agency, I'm not talking you're doing millions a year or nothing. Let's say you're a small agency, maybe doing 10,000 a month. To me, that's small, but you're doing 10,000 a month. You're barely making 6 figures a year, but you're making a decent living. Okay. But the thing is, if you're only going after business owners, if you lose, let's say you have 15 clients and 3 of them leave that month, is it going to hurt you?
Mhm.
No. Me, if I lose, let's say, I'm not saying I like it, but if I lose 6, I'm not going to even feel it, you know, because I have multiple things. For instance, I have agencies. I have, let's say, a handful of small businesses, and then I have majority of its agencies, and then I have my own rank and rent. I have my own assets. I have my own partnerships where I'll go, someone comes to me and says, hey, I want to do rank and rent. And I'll ask them what industry. They'll tell me, would you consider doing partnership? Yes, if it's the right industry, of course. And then once I see that it's the right industry, then I go, okay, I'm going to do some rank and rent with this person. And now I have my own assets. So now I have small business owners, agencies, rank and rent. Rank and rent, if you don't know what that is where I go take a GMB website, I rank it, I get leads coming in, and I can either rent the whole thing out or I can sell the whole thing. You know, you can literally take the entire website, sell the entire thing for whatever you come up with, 50,000, 100,000, whatever you think it's worth, or you can rent out and sell the leads. And I also do that. I sell the leads in my old Facebook profile. It's $297 for this many leads a month. And they're all leads dealing with SEO and websites, you know, and I do that. And then I also have people I partner with. And so for me, when someone comes at me and let's say you lose a couple of clients here or there, now it really won't matter because I have rank and rent, I have agencies, and I have other business owners. So I'll do all of it. So you can't, to me, you should niche down, but you should also have your own rank and rents, and you should also have your own assets that you partner with other people on. You know, but to do those things, you need a team to be able to do it. For the most part, you're not going to be able to do it. Absolutely must do's. Yep. So
Yeah,
you're not.
I got a couple of rank and rent sites and a couple of partnerships as well going on with people that are helping me rank the sites, and we're, you know, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I feel so spread out too,
Yep.
which I kind of like that. I like the diversity, but yet at the same time, I wonder if I'm hurting myself. Like, I'm just trying to think of from a business owner's perspective. If I'm, say, a plumber, would I like to work with an SEO guy or a website guy that knows how to rank websites for everybody and does a little bit of everything, or somebody who is
I'll
a
tell you
specialist?
who makes more money, the general practitioner at a multi-specialty place or a heart doctor.
Right.
Heart doctor makes,
Gotta-
let's say, 10 grand for, coming in there and working for, let's say, 20 minutes. And a generalist won't make nearly as much. I prefer working with generalists mainly as a generalist because I like working with different types of people, meeting different people. It's just me. It's always the way I've been, always have been. I only work with this type of people. The only time I've done that is I don't work with, I don't work with certain areas. And now I'm so much more, I'm getting towards, I only want to work with agencies because I know they understand the process of SEO. Most business owners don't have the education, and they don't have the background, and you almost have to educate them. I have even considered telling people if they want to work with me and they're a business owner, you have to go through my course first, minimum, to see that you actually will get to the point where you understand it. At least read through my book at minimum, but preferably go through my whole course. Because most of the time what happens to these business owners, they'll come in, they'll be like, they have a tomato seed, plant a tomato seed, they come out and, the next day and say, where's my damn BLT sandwich? They want to know where the tomatoes are at. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. I have one right now. He literally, he's less than 30 days and he's not getting phone calls yet. It's like 30 days, son, not even 30 days, not getting phone calls. Amazing. And I tell them, say, if you want phone calls like that, do pay-per-click. Do pay-per-click, honestly, if that's what you expect or need, or do pay-per-click and SEO at the same time. That's the other thing. Newsletters are definitely a good model. Free ebooks, free information. You just have to have an offer in which, and I even have mine set up where now on my website to even get to my calendar, you have to give me your information. And then once you give me your information as a lead and you ask for an audit, then you go to my calendar. Only then can you get to my calendar. Before I had it where you can go online and say, hey, I want to book an appointment with William. You're awesome. I've heard everything about you. I love you. And then you go to the Skype meeting or a Zoom meeting, and this dude I get up at 4 freaking a.m. and doesn't even show up. It's like, pisses me off because I got up at 4 a.m., woke up just to sit down with you, and you don't even show up. Don't even message me, much less. So I changed the whole way I did it. I'm like, you're going to give me my information first. You're going to go jump through a couple of hoops before you can even say, hey, I want to talk to you, because I want to find out, are you for real? Then on top of it, once those leads come in, now the day of my appointment, within an hour before it, I say, hey, just a reminder, we have a meeting today. Are we still on? Here's the link. Let me know. If they respond back, I show up. If they don't, I won't. I say, here's a link. If they don't show up, I say, here's a link if you need to reschedule. Obviously, you're a very business owner. Let me know when you're ready. And by saying, let me know when you're ready, I'm doing, if you will, reverse psychology, in which I'm telling them, I don't really think you're meaning it. I don't really think you're the type of client I want to deal with. I've seen some, I've seen other things. I used to go to auctions and stuff. Is this reverse psychology, that you're trying to use in a lot of it?
You got to take it away.
Yeah. And I had one of the guys, clients I worked with, his name is Savash. And his first one I ever worked with, he was a 7-figure earner from ClickFunnels. He's a 2 award winner. And he told me, he said, you need to do like hot guys do. I said, what do you mean? He said, people love you too much. I said, what do you mean? Aren't they supposed to love you? He said, make yourself scarce. And I did that probably, I wouldn't say 6 months ago. When I did that, it's like, everybody's like, where are you at? I need to make an appointment with you. Like this week, because I mean, honestly, I'm doing a session in the morning and a session at night with you guys. And I had a calendar, you know, I'm going to like Monday, 7 appointments, Tuesday, 7 appointments. I went, you know what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm taking off. I'll do my courses, but I'm taking off because I need a break. And then I'll do that once, twice, you know, twice a month where I won't talk to anybody really. And then when I come back, the whole calendar's like boom, 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 you know, and you'll close a crap ton of deals by doing that. At least I found. And that's what I do as well. Yep. And that's what I told them. Same thing. AdWords, pay-per-click, Google ads, Facebook ads. You can get deals that way. That's why one of the things Jeff always has told me too is running SEO and pay-per-click at the same time. That's one way, because a lot of people ain't got the patience to wait for SEO, because sometimes they take 3 months, 6 months. I've worked with clients that took in a year, especially personal attorneys, personal injury attorneys, certain type of doctors. And at the same time that you're waiting, you could be doing, if they have the budget, you can be doing pay-per-click and getting them those calls, you know, to help keep them alive, if you will, and keep them growing instead of just sitting there waiting on SEO to kick in. Because unless they have, you know, unless it's in a low niche or a low competition area, it's going to be, at least from most of my mid competition clients, it's going to be 3 to 4 months before you start seeing any traction. So any other questions?
Hey, William, is that, I have a roofing GMB client right now that after 2 months, I haven't made any progress at
Nope.
all. And
It depends on the area. What area is it at?
it's like out in Northern Virginia, like a county of about 500,000 people. There is a lot of
Northern Virginia.
Yeah, Loudoun County. Like
I used to live in. I seen you lived in Virginia. I used to live in. Do you know where Paw Paw, West Virginia is? Way out in the sticks is where I lived. So
no clue, man. Like
yeah.
I've been to Martinsburg.
Anywhere in West Virginia is out in the sticks.
Yeah, I've been through Martinsburg. Martinsburg's to me is communist. So, that's
I live close to.
I go to the VA hospital up there.
Okay, yeah, we refer to it as like, we lived in Paw Paw, and then I also lived in Berkeley, West Springs, West Virginia, which is like an artistic music type of a city, and we're just right, you know, Maryland right up across of us. And I used to go into Virginia for auctions because I used to do auctioning.
Where in Virginia?
What's the name of it? It's I can pull it up.
I live close to Harrisonburg, Virginia.
It's pretty close. I mean, I'll pull it up and then you come to my inbox and I'll talk to you about it. But basically, we used to go. I mean, this is why I tell people. A lot of people sit there and look at this, you know, mine and my wife's success, and I say success very lightly. I mean, in my opinion, I'm thankful to God for my success because I've been through hell and back, and that's what most people. I was like, you know, I've been living in a shack and have no money, have no food, and have my babies and, you know, all that. And people don't see all that. But then when I was in West Virginia, for example, and I had my clients, on top of having my clients, I go to auctions and I would buy couches and I would buy furniture, and I'd get these things for, let's say at this one auction, for $5 to $10. And I would go, he's like, how many you want? I was like, how many you got? 20, all of them. And I'd get all of them. And then I'd go out and sell them on Facebook. And I'd sell them for, let's say, $200 a pop. And then I'd go deliver them. So I was constantly hustling, constantly using Facebook organic marketing, same concept, just a little bit different. And, but that was out in West Virginia. I tell people, if I ever moved back to the States, it'd be to West Virginia. I could care less about everywhere else. I loved West Virginia. When I first moved there, I was like, I remember going to, it's called Slatersville, I believe. But I went into the first time when I got there, I went into the gas station. I was like, what in the hell are all these guns doing in this gas station? And I remember my friend told me, he said, oh, we have open carry laws. I said, what the hell is open carry? I like guns. Don't get me wrong. I've always had firearms. Right now I got a 1911, all this stuff, or, you know, I've shot a 1911, all that stuff. And he told me open carry. He said, this is why we don't have any crime here. I said, yeah, I bet you don't have crime. You shoot your ass. That's why. And, I just absolutely love West Virginia. And I originally planned on buying a house there. The house we were looking at, literally, you could sit out in the front yard. It's on 15 acres and it had nothing but white-tailed deer walking through the front. I could sit on my damn front porch and shoot them if I wanted to. And
Or you could just look at them too.
yeah, but I like eating them better.
Well, and no, I like West, but anyway, like what's a reasonable amount of time
for
to
a
tell-
roofer, depending on how much competition. To me, that just don't seem like too much competition. I would have
Okay.
to send me the link again for the GMB, and I'll look at it and I'll do
Well,
an
so
audit.
you know where I went wrong, William, is their name. We've done it in the SEO classes, C2 operations.
Yeah, that
for-
one. Okay.
And I was telling them, I said, you guys are like the only roofer that doesn't have roofing in your name, right?
Yeah,
So I was
that's
like,
the number
why don't we
one
add
determining
roofing?
factor, which we talked about the other day. Number one
Yeah.
factor is their name and then their category.
Yeah,
You
and
can
I
tell
told them
them,
add the roofing and you should get immediate results. And of course, Google proved a liar out of me. There was like no change in their ranking. And so
I've literally went into the name.
I got egg on my face.
Yeah, I did that, for instance, with the Clearly Eye Care. Originally, it was just Clearly Eye Care, and then I slapped in and I changed. I think it was like Clearly Eye Care Center, and I changed it to Clearly Eye Care Round Rock,
Mhm.
and that changed it. And now they've been seeing their rankings come up, and I was like, that's the only thing I did within the past few, let's say, past 3 weeks or so, besides obviously everything else we normally do. But I would change their name, and then I would also change their category. With that GMB Crush that I told you about, I can look at what categories are their competition using and reverse engineer everything their competition's doing.
Well, I'm doing everything, the bit.ly links now, the
Yep.
URLs to the Google map, everything you're teaching in the class, I'm throwing at it. The neighborhood pages for like
I would tell
your
you,
website.
here's what you do. So run a ranking report now, right? Run a ranking. Well, you should have done it. If you hadn't done it, you should have done it. I'm pretty sure you did before doing any of that, right?
I did. Yeah.
And you keep that. And then at the end of 30 days, you run another report and see how much visibility you've increased. If you're not increasing visibility, my markers, let's say I start and it's at 5%, I want to see it at 15% in 30 days. If it's
Oh,
not,
okay. I've just been running the heat map through Lead Generator. What's the visibility report?
the
Is that
visibility
in-
report is with send me if you want to, I'll show it to you, but it's basically
Okay.
all in one power. It's all in one power suite or link
Oh,
assist,
yeah.
in which we talked about in the course. And when you run those reports, it's going to show you how much visibility is. It'll show you, you can choose the search engines you want to use. I wanted just a Google Maps or Google Organic, Google Maps, Bing, and Yahoo. And it'll show me ups and downs. And generally I go, okay, as long as they're increasing, let's say you were at 5% visibility and now you're, to me, you're at like 12%. That's success. Next month, you should be in the 20 something percentile and so on and so forth. By about 4 or 5 months, once you're doing all of it and you're implementing everything, you should be even higher. So then on top of it, if they want me to, I run the grids. I run the grids specifically for people I'm doing CTR manipulation with. So
Yeah.
I don't do those necessarily for everybody, mainly because they cost money every time I run them. But then again, with lead gen, they don't cost any money, but I'm waiting for him to actually do some changes. So what?
Yeah. Would you mind running it through the visibility report?
Yeah, send me an email and then
okay.
I'll run it. If anything, we'll run it first thing in the morning in a class so we can see it.
Cool. That would be amazing.
And we'll
Yeah,
do
thanks.
that and do an audit on that versus the other ones. And then tomorrow in the class, my plan, just to let y'all know if y'all are in, most of y'all are in the class, is today was the obviously location pages. And I got the video up. I still got to get the templates and all that stuff up. But then tomorrow we're going to go through the the GMBs and some other things as well. So, and do the question answers, that sort of thing, and how I set those up. I know we answered quite a bit of that today, but we'll go over some other things as well. And, you know, so y'all can start ranking, of course. Any more questions? Any more questions? Just let me know. All right. And I will get back together if I'll see you either in the evening, or if I don't see you in the evening, then I'll see you again tomorrow morning.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right, you
William.
guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great afternoon. Thanks.
You too, buddy.